Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Mocha Bezirgan for Rebel News. Would you ever resist if you were grabbed by armed men, not even knowing why? What if they told you,
"We're grabbing you because you're not wearing a mask"?
is that a good enough justification? Well, maybe if you're a Quebec police officer, then yeah. This is what happened to Alex Baus. Except the aggressors were wearing police uniforms. But as the French saying goes, appelé un chat, un chat.
He was not wearing a mask, and they grabbed him. The four of them grabbed him and shot him to the floor and held him like as if he was George Floyd. That's how I thought they were gonna kill him.
They came up to me and grabbed me. They didn't say, "Hey, we're gonna give you a ticket, blah, blah, blah." They came up, they grabbed me, and they said, "You're coming with us." And any normal person would have said no.
So let's call une agression. Une agression. Alex Baus was participating in a peaceful protest that took place in Montreal on May 1st, marching alongside tens of thousands alike who were expressing dissent against the pandemic policies of Quebec Premier Legault. Thanks to our generous viewers who donated to lockdownreports.com, we were able to go to Montreal and cover this massive protest. As we were conducting a two-camera shot Maxime Bernier interview, the police officially made their intentions clear. The peaceful atmosphere of the protest was about to be disrupted by the police to randomly issue $1550 worth of failure to wear a mask tickets.
As a participant in a demonstration to wear a face covering. You are also ordered to keep at least 2 meters from each other.
The tactic of police in Quebec has been to ambush the lockdown protesters and randomly detain them to issue tickets for not wearing a mask.
I've placed my mask on just because the police are apparently arresting anyone who doesn't have their mask on. They've taken down one person, as you just saw. They're moving in on the crowd. Let's see what happens. They are arresting this man. He's about to put his mask on, and they are arresting him right now. This is unbelievable.
What's stopping them from giving out even worse mandates? You know, okay, now it's just for a mask, but if they could do this, they could do later. You know, they could make something worse that just randomly go beating person up, which is, I mean, basically what they did to me. But I mean, if you're allowing this mandate to happen, you're allowing any mandate to happen.
After this altercation occurred, Alex started recording the police to make sure their aggression wouldn't go undocumented, not knowing that he would be the next one out of 1,000 to endure such aggression.
The big reason why, I think, is because I was recording them. So when I got there was a little scuffle, and they looked a little antsy to me. So I said, I'll record everything because you can't have your word against theirs. It never works. So I'd have it on camera. And I never, flipped them off or yelled at them, or I didn't say a word to them. I was just recording them. And you could see that they were talking to each other, and multiple times they point at me until eventually they picked me up. So I think it was retaliation for filming them. I think that's why they picked me out, because, I mean, we were with hundreds of people with no masks, so there was no reason to single me out.
Alex was suddenly arbitrarily grabbed by armed riot police.
Most of my family members, and I mean, I have a lot of family members, they couldn't believe that I got arrested. They said, "How could you get arrested? You're a peaceful guy. You never do anything wrong," but I have to stand up for what I believe in. I am a peaceful person. I never go looking for trouble. I don't want drama. I hate drama. But at this point, I have to stand up for what I believe in, because it not only affects me or my family, but everyone and every future generation. I got nieces. It's important for me to know that they're going to be fine in their life. and not be subject to all of this. My aunt was by my shoulder there. She was on her hands and knees asking me to calm down, and everybody was on me, and then he was headbutting my aunt, which then I went total haywire because now you're hitting my aunt. So I was struggling, and that's when he grabbed my throat and started to squeeze, and then everybody started yelling, he's choking him, so then he let go.
We are going to fight Alex's ticket. Please go to fightdefiance.com to donate so we can fight both his COVID ticket and his obstruction charge. Just like we do for hundreds of people all across Canada. But we are dependent on your donations to keep up the fight. We have already assigned a top-notch lawyer for his case.
The strategy is very simple. Looking at the circumstances that he was in, evaluating where he was and who he was around, and at the same time making sure that the police officers that issued the ticket did so in a lawful manner, did so while respecting Alex's rights, either to wear a mask or not wear a mask, and understanding how it was issued. So our goal is to fight it all the way to court.
What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I think what you guys are doing is amazing. It's just an amazing job. You're really putting yourselves out there, doing the dirty work to get there, going through a lot of trouble and suffering, really, to do your jobs. And I think it's just amazing. You guys are doing such an amazing job.
Perhaps the violence he had to endure wasn't just because he was breathing fresh air outside without a mask. There is, after all, enough evidence that the Montreal police do not like their actions to be recorded, since they themselves thumped down the idea of wearing body cams. The project did not unequivocally demonstrate portable cameras, promote the transparency of police interventions, strengthen trust between the police and the citizen, and ensure the safety of police. However, the demand for the body cam has mounted more and more, even by the mayor herself, after this video of police punching a man.
Witnesses who wish to remain anonymous, the event happened Saturday evening at Jean Mance Park, where hundreds of students were seen partying without wearing masks or following public health guidelines.
But I think there was worse retaliation. Once I was put in the car, like I said, I couldn't feel my hands anymore after the 2 hours. I eventually switched another car to be brought to the station. And then I asked him, I said, my shoulders are killing me. I said, could you double cuff me to give me more room? And they said, yeah, no problem. It was just this lady, I don't know who she was, has to ask you a few questions. So I said, okay. She came to the door and she started asking me personal questions. I said, listen, I exercise my right to remain silent without a lawyer present. And she said, that's fine. So they closed the doors and the cops got in. And I said, you said you were going to double cuff me. And then they said, oh, we can't. It's for our safety now. So if you exercise your rights, you get punished. And that's exactly what happened, because I was filming the cops, which was the right that I was exercising. And I got punished anyways. So I felt there was a few retaliations also throughout the process of being arrested.
I can personally attest to the claim that Quebec police uses failure to wear a face covering or a mask in a demonstration as an excuse to detain journalists and protesters. On March 20, 2021, Sergeant V.A. particularly grabs me while recording them.
Yes, I know. Yeah, can I get your name and badge number? V-O-V-I-A-U.
That day, they also arrested this man who was also recording the police.
I go into jail.
Why?
I don't know, man.
We are suing Montreal police over at least 10 incidents where they unlawfully arrested, detained, searched and raided us by using mask, curfew and illegal gathering as excuses.
Are you kidding me?
On the boat, you broke the rule on the boat. You know that?
Because I'm eating and drinking. How do I eat and drink with a mask on?
So you didn't eat, you didn't drink.
Sir, my coffee is right there. Come on.
And referring to us as Jew and Jew media multiple times.
What?
Who are you, sir?
I'm with Rebel News. I'm not media Jewif.
On different occasions.
I know Rebel News.
This is like, we're documenting what's happening here, guys.
But that's a different story, and we will soon have a comprehensive video explaining each incident. But if you want to know what they have put us through throughout the winter, just check out lockdownreports.com.
And you will not have your mask. Hide your shame.
I contacted Montreal police to get their side of the story in relation to his arrest, but they declined to comment.
I think people have to watch out for the police because a lot of people say they're on our side, but Legault's not gonna go door to door and enforce his unconstitutional laws. He's using the police as the muscle, and they're doing it. So how can they be on our side if they're doing it? I asked many of those police officers if they thought what they were doing was right. Attacking people for no reason. And giving them $1,500 fines that are unconstitutional.
Because you had no valid reason to be outside after curfew.
And they said they were totally fine with it.
It is evident that the police have poor discretion, and it creates a danger to the general public when nobody is responsible for their poor discretion. After all, we are talking about the Montreal police, who gives out contaminated masks to people under the threat of more fines, increasing their risk of getting COVID-19.
Putting a mask on an asymptomatic person is not beneficial, obviously, if you're not infected. It increases the touching of your face, if you think about it. If you got a mask around your face, sometimes you can't help it because you're just touching parts of your face. The other thing is the outside of the mask could be contaminated as well. So the key is hand washing, absolutely, for sure. Numerous infectious diseases, even in the hospital setting, we find that it's removing personal protective equipment that can actually lead to infections. So if people try to use these measures, they have to be really, really careful and wash their hands. Absolutely, that's the key. So we're also worried about the negative, potentially negative impacts.
But that was then. Now, apparently, science has changed, and it seems to suggest that it is in the best interest of everyone to choke people who protest against the mask for not wearing a mask. The police told me that they are protecting and serving the people, enforcing laws that were voted by you. Is that true that you allegedly authorized government employees to choke you for not wearing a mask?
Absolutely not. And I mean, these laws aren't laws, they're mandate, and they were never voted in. And how do you protect and serve people by beating them? How is that protecting people? It's completely false and totally upside down. I think it's just an empty reason for them to justify their actions.
Where was the Charter of Rights and Freedoms when Alex and many others were being detained, arrested, and fined across Canada for exercising their right to peacefully assemble?
We may have, a constitution that has all these rights written down, but the paper itself is not going to stand up and protect us. It only guarantees that we have these rights. We have a job to do as a people. We have to stand up and hold these and protect our rights. I mean, if you'd ask me, these are the most valuable things a human can possess is your rights, because without them, you're not free. You're not free. And then what do you have? You have to be done what you're told? You have nothing.
We wouldn't be able to be there to capture what happened to Alex if you didn't fund us through lockdownreports.com. Now, if you can fund our lawyers through fightthefines.com, we can keep up the fight for hundreds of Canadians and for Alex Bowes, who was arrested for no good reason. For Rebel News, Mocha Bezirgan. Please go to fightthefines.com and donate through Democracy Fund, which will make you eligible for a tax deduction. This way, your donation will enable us to help people like Alex who have received unjust COVID fines.